A woman will never flat out tell you she likes you. Not with words. She will, however, scream it at you through three specific signals that 93% of men completely miss. And here is what makes this terrifying. If you miss these signals even once, most women will assume you are not interested and quietly move on. No second chances, no dramatic goodbye. She just disappears. And you will spend months wondering what happened. Here is a stat that should genuinely concern you. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that men correctly identify when a woman is flirting with them only 36% of the time. 36%. That means nearly 2 out of every 3 times a woman is actively, intentionally showing interest in you. You have absolutely no idea it is happening. And before you think, well, maybe those guys just were not paying attention, the same study found that men were actually overconfident in their ability to read signals. They thought they were great at it. They were horrible at it. So right now, there could be a woman in your life, someone you see regularly, someone you talk to, maybe someone you have already written off, who is practically holding up a neon sign that says, "I like you," and you are standing there squinting at it going, I wonder what that says. I am going to fix that for you today. But I need to be honest about something first. The 3 signs I am about to share with you are not the ones you have heard recycled in every other video. This is not "she plays with her hair" or "she laughs at your jokes." Those are surface-level observations that could mean literally anything. She might play with her hair because it is humid. She might laugh at your jokes because she is polite and you are her coworker and HR exists. What I am going to show you are the 3 behavioral patterns that, according to relationship psychology and actual human behavior research, are essentially unfakeable. These are the signs that separate genuine romantic interest from friendliness, politeness, or boredom. And the third one, honestly, the third one is the one that changed my entire perspective on how women communicate attraction. Most men have never even heard of it. But before I reveal any of them, I need you to understand something critical about how women operate. Because without this context, the signs themselves will not make sense. Women are trained from childhood, socially, culturally, in every possible way, to be indirect. We are taught that being too forward is aggressive, that showing too much interest too soon makes you look desperate, that the right way to let someone know you are interested is to give them enough information to figure it out on their own. Is that confusing for you? Absolutely. Is it fair? Probably not. But is it reality? 100%. So when a woman likes you, she is not going to hand you a signed declaration of interest. She is going to do something far more subtle and far more reliable once you know what to look for. Let me show you what I mean. The first unbreakable sign is something I call the proximity pattern, and it is so simple that you are going to be annoyed you never noticed it before. When a woman genuinely likes you, she will engineer reasons to be physically near you. Not once, not occasionally, consistently. She will create a pattern of closeness that, if you actually mapped it out over a week or 2, would look suspiciously deliberate, because it is. Now, this is not the same as someone who happens to sit near you in a meeting because it is the only open chair. What I am talking about is repeated, unnecessary closeness. She shows up at the coffee machine at the same time you do, every single day. She volunteers to work on projects with you when she has other options. She picks the seat next to you when there are 15 other seats available. She finds reasons to walk past your desk, your station, your corner of the room. And here is the part that makes this sign unfakeable. It happens even when she gains nothing else from the proximity. If a woman is near you because she needs something from you, help with a task, information, a favor, that is transactional. That is not attraction. But when she places herself near you with no agenda, no ask, no productive reason other than simply being close to you, that is a pattern worth paying attention to. Dr. Edward Hall, an anthropologist who literally created the study of proxemics, the science of human spatial relationships, identified that humans maintain specific distance zones depending on their level of comfort and intimacy with another person. For strangers, we keep about 4 to 12 feet. For acquaintances, roughly 4 feet. But for people we feel genuine emotional closeness or attraction toward, we shrink that space to 18 inches or less. So if a woman is consistently placing herself within that 18-inch zone, leaning in during conversations, standing close enough that her shoulder brushes yours, sitting so close that her knee touches your leg and she does not pull away, She is communicating something her words might never say. I once had a friend, let's call her Sarah, who spent 3 entire months engineering proximity with a guy she worked with. She rearranged her lunch schedule to match his. She started parking in a different section of the lot because it meant they would walk into the building at the same time. She volunteered for a committee she had zero interest in because he was on it. 3 months of deliberate, strategic closeness. And this man, bless his heart, turned to a mutual friend one day and said, "Sarah is nice, but I honestly cannot tell if she is into me or just friendly." She was joining committees for this man. Committees, nobody joins a committee for fun. That is a war crime level of effort, and he still could not see it. So here is your takeaway. Stop looking at individual moments and start looking at patterns. If a woman keeps showing up in your space, not because she has to, but because she chooses to, that is not coincidence. That is communication. But the proximity pattern alone is not enough to be certain. Because some women are naturally warm, naturally close, naturally comfortable with physical space, regardless of romantic interest, which is exactly why you need the second sign to confirm what the first one is suggesting. The second unbreakable sign is what behavioral psychologists call investment escalation. And this one is genuinely fascinating because it operates on a principle most people never think about. Here is the principle. Human beings do not invest increasing amounts of time, energy, and emotional resources into people they are indifferent about. We just do not. It goes against every survival instinct we have. Our brains are wired to conserve energy, to allocate resources efficiently, to avoid wasting effort on things that do not serve us. So when someone, specifically a woman, starts investing more and more into you over time, something significant is happening beneath the surface. And I am not talking about grand gestures. This is not about her buying you expensive gifts or planning elaborate surprises. Investment escalation is almost always subtle, and it follows a very specific trajectory. It starts small. She remembers details about your life that you mentioned casually, once in passing. You told her 3 weeks ago that you had a dentist appointment coming up, and she asks you how it went. You mentioned your mom's name in a story, and 2 months later, she uses it correctly. She files away these small pieces of your life as if she is building a mental archive, because she is. Then it escalates. She starts offering things you did not ask for. She sends you an article related to something you are interested in. She saves you a seat. She brings you coffee without you requesting it. She checks in on you when you mentioned you had a rough day. These are not random acts of kindness. These are investments. She is putting deposits into your emotional bank account, and she is doing it because subconsciously, and sometimes very consciously, she wants a return. Dr. John Gottman, who has spent over 4 decades studying relationships at the University of Washington, found that one of the most reliable predictors of romantic interest is what he calls turning toward. This is when someone consistently responds to your bids for connection, your comments, your jokes, your stories, with engagement rather than dismissal. And when a woman is escalating her investment in you, her rate of turning toward your bids goes through the roof. She laughs at things you say that are not even funny. And trust me, as a woman, I can tell you, we know when something is not funny. We laugh anyway because we want you to feel good. We want you to associate positive emotions with our presence. It is not manipulation, it is investment. But here's the part that makes this sign unbreakable. Watch for the escalation over time, not just the investment itself. A woman who is polite will invest at a consistent, low level. She will be nice to you the same way she is nice to everyone. Stable, predictable, flat. A woman who likes you will escalate. Week 1, she remembers your coffee order. Week 3, she is bringing you that coffee. Week 6, she is texting you articles about things you care about. Week 10, she is rearranging her schedule to spend time with you. The investment keeps growing. The effort keeps increasing. And she does it willingly, sometimes eagerly, because every investment she makes is a bet on a future she is hoping will include you. There was a study conducted at the University of Virginia that found people who are falling in love show increased activity in the brain's reward centers, the same areas activated by chocolate, music, and yes, certain substances. Essentially, the act of investing in someone you are attracted to literally feels good on a neurochemical level. She is not just being nice to you. Her brain is rewarding her for being nice to you. That is biology working overtime to push her toward you. So if you notice a woman's investment in you climbing, not staying flat, not fluctuating randomly, but genuinely increasing over weeks and months, you are looking at something real. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What if she is just a really generous person? What if she does this for everyone? Fair question. And it brings us to the third sign, the one that eliminates all ambiguity, the one that most men have never even considered, and the one that once you see it, you can never unsee. The third unbreakable sign is what I call the vulnerability window. And honestly, this is the one that separates everything. When a woman truly likes you, not as a friend, not as a colleague, not as a comfortable person to be around, but as someone she has genuine romantic interest in, she will do something that goes against every protective instinct she has. She will let you see her imperfections, on purpose. This sounds counterintuitive, right? You would think that if someone likes you, they would try to present the best possible version of themselves at all times. Perfect appearance, perfect stories, perfect composure. And yes, in the early stages, most people do exactly that. But when a woman transitions from casual interest to real emotional investment, something shifts. She stops curating. She starts sharing things that are not polished. She tells you about the embarrassing thing that happened to her at work, and she does not spin it into a funny anecdote. She tells you she was actually mortified. She admits she is struggling with something. She shows you the side of herself that she normally hides from everyone else. And this is where the psychology gets really interesting. Dr. Brené Brown, whose research on vulnerability has been cited over 50,000 times in academic literature, found that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the single most accurate measure of courage in human relationships. And more relevant to this conversation, she found that people selectively choose who they are vulnerable with. We do not open up to everyone. We open up to people we trust, people we feel safe with, and, critically, people we want deeper connection with. So when a woman opens a vulnerability window with you specifically, she is doing two things simultaneously. First, she is testing you. She is putting something fragile in your hands to see how you hold it. Will you laugh at her? Will you dismiss her? Will you use it against her later? Or will you handle it with care? That test is everything. Second, and this is the part most men miss entirely, she is inviting you closer. Vulnerability is an invitation. It is her saying, without saying it, I trust you enough to show you this. I want you close enough to see the real version of me, not the highlight reel, the actual person. And here is why this sign is completely unbreakable. You cannot fake genuine vulnerability. You can fake friendliness. You can fake interest. You can even fake investment for a while if you are motivated enough. But real vulnerability, the kind where someone shows you their actual fears, insecurities, and unfiltered self, that requires emotional risk. And no one takes emotional risk with someone they are indifferent about. The cost is too high. I had someone write to me once and describe a situation that perfectly illustrates this. He said a woman he had been friends with for about a year suddenly started telling him things she had never told anyone. About her family, about her fears for the future, about a past relationship that had hurt her deeply. He said it felt as though a switch had flipped and suddenly she was a completely different person around him. More open, more raw, more real. He asked me, does this mean she trusts me as a friend, or does this mean something more? And my answer was, look at the other two signs. Was she also engineering proximity? Was she escalating her investment? Because when all three of these signs appear together, consistent closeness, increasing investment, and selective vulnerability, that is not friendship. That is a woman who is falling for you and hoping desperately that you will notice before she has to do the terrifying thing of actually saying it out loud. So let me connect these three signs into a single framework you can actually use. The proximity pattern tells you she wants to be near you. The investment escalation tells you she is willing to put effort into you. And the vulnerability window tells you she trusts you with the parts of herself she protects from everyone else. Any one of these signs in isolation could potentially be explained away. Maybe she sits near you because she likes that spot. Maybe she remembers your coffee order because she has a good memory. Maybe she opened up to you because she needed someone to talk to. But when all three are present, when a woman is consistently closing the distance between you, continuously increasing her investment in you, and selectively showing you her unguarded self, you are not looking at friendliness. You are not looking at politeness. You are looking at a woman who has made a decision about you and is waiting, sometimes patiently, sometimes not so patiently, for you to make a decision about her. And here is the thing that genuinely breaks my heart. According to a survey by Match.com, 47% of singles said they have had feelings for someone but never acted on them because they were unsure if the interest was mutual. 47%. That means nearly half the connections that could have turned into something real just evaporated. Not because the interest was not there on both sides, but because nobody could read the signs. Do not be part of that statistic. Now you know what to look for. The question is no longer whether she likes you. The question is what you are going to do about it. And actually, since you now know how to recognize when she is interested, let me ask you something. Do you know what to do once you are certain? Because recognizing the signs is only half of the equation. The other half is knowing exactly how to respond in a way that takes her interest and turns it into something deep, something lasting, something she cannot walk away from. That is precisely what I break down in this next video. 7. Touches that will make a mature woman fall deeply in love with you. And before you misunderstand the title, these are not random physical moves. These are specific, psychologically backed points of connection that trigger deep emotional bonding in women. The fourth one on that list is something most men would never think of, and it is the one women talk about privately with their closest friends when they say, "He just makes me feel something I cannot explain." If you found value in what I shared today, that video is the natural next step. Because knowing she likes you means nothing if you do not know how to make her fall completely. It is playing on your screen right now. I will see you there.